Hello, everyone. I am going to contrast and compare. This is about Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan, on one hand, stands up against circumcision, right? Circumcisions are unnecessary and they kill hundreds of babies a year, which is true. Then I'm going to contrast that with men's rights. Even though it says they have some legitimate arguments, he's generally against, ridicules men's rights activists. And I'm going to put up spoilers right away. The reason why that is that men are insecure about their status. It's a status protection. It's that simple. One of the guys came up and mentioned to me, he says, what I think status is acceptance by women. And what it is, Rogan can tackle a single issue, but he can never align with men's rights, because men's rights mean you can't have men's rights without facing up female privilege. And so once you do that, the women don't accept you anymore. So anyway, let's get into this.
80% of them was from your podcast. It was really unbelievable. I like his energy. I don't know if I agree with him on, like, I don't have strong views about UBI or what he calls the freedom dividend, $1,000 a month. I don't know what I think about that. He's like against circumcision. He has like all these views about things.
Yeah.
I don't really know if I agree with him on most of his things.
Against circumcision? You don't agree with that?
No.
Really?
Yeah. No,
You're
I'm
cutting
not,
baby dicks?
I'm not like passionate.
Of course she's not. She's a woman. Her rights are protected. It doesn't affect her, so she doesn't care. And it also shows that most women do not care about children. Most people in general. Because if he brought back the idea, if Rogan challenged her and said, hey, why don't we bring back female circumcision? She'd be all up in arms and saying this is barbaric.
About that. Are you?
Yeah, people lose their dicks. A lot of kids every year. Do you know children die from that?
They
Children
lose their dicks?
Yes, all the time. It's very common.
Really?
Yes, like multiple children per year lose their penis from an unnecessary, antiquated operation where you cut off their dicks to make it look different.
Okay.
You're cutting skin off of their dick, and they wind up getting infected, and they lose their dicks.
You see, he's actually putting a good argument, but it's not the best argument. There's a reason why he mentions deaths, because the deaths are probably very small by comparison to the whole population of circumcision, of circumcised boys. The real issue, I should say, the first issue should be that the purpose of getting your son circumcised is to dull the sensation in his penis so he doesn't enjoy sex. And that works really well. It wouldn't be a small portion of the population that suffer it. That's its purpose. And so Rogan can't mention that because it brings up male victimhood. He can't look like a male victim. Do you understand? So he brings it right to the deaths, the hardest you can come by.
I mean, it doesn't happen all the time, but it happens enough time where you go, this should never happen. This is a completely unnecessary operation.
Yeah, okay. So there he is. That's all we need to hear from this. He defends, children's rights to not be cut. I think it wasn't 100%. It's actually kind of weak for the reasons I gave. Now let's hear what he has to say about men's rights.
Seen it.
Do you feel like that died down a little bit, the men's rights activist thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like there were maybe 3 years ago it was very big, and then now it's kind
I
of
have a
tapering
bit
off.
about it.
Yeah, you got a lot of shit from them, right? Didn't they?
What shit? Having them be upset at me, I don't give a fuck. But
yes, he does. This is posturing. Joe Rogan is all about popularity. That's why he fence sits a lot. That's why he won't back the men's rights. If he backed the men's rights, which he should, because he's a man, he wouldn't gain female acceptance. It would hurt his status. That's what none of these guys can admit. Look, even though I did a video on Kyle Klinsky, at least Kyle is willing to walk around with his baby face and his boy physique. Rogan is completely insecure with his MMA fighting and his shaved head. The shaved head is the modern version of the toupee. William Shatner wore the toupee because Captain Kirk had a full head of hair. But Bruce Willis realized he just had to shave his head and didn't look like you're bald. Like, the appearance is like, oh, it looks cool, and you might think I can grow a full head of hair anytime I want it. Although I will give it as it's a step up from the guys who wear ball caps all day, every day.
But my bit was that every men's rights activist I ever met, I just want to grab and go, dude, we got them all.
Really, you got them all? That's weird. He's going to contradict himself. He's going to bring up issues men have, even after he said this. So he's virtue signaling to the girls, I am a good little servant boy, which means he can't fight for men's rights. Also, he argued in that other video against circumcision. So he knows men have issues.
Shut the fuck up.
We run everything, or almost everything.
No, the average guy runs nothing. 99.999% of us are just employees who do what we're told. And these guys know this.
The whole idea is that, not that I don't think men should have rights, but it's just, we've got them.
Yeah.
And that my thing in the bit was, what if women started paying attention to things men actually did? When they started going, hey, we just realized you guys caused all the war. Every single war ever.
This guy's full of shit. It shows he's either hasn't done any research or he's a liar. Because we know that female rulers cause war, or, and I shouldn't say cause them, but they start them more often than their male counterparts. So he's never done any research into it, or he's lying. I don't know which it is, but take your pick.
Ever. And like, if you imagine if women caused all the war, we'd be like, whoa, we gotta kill these fucking crazy bitches. All they want to do is.
Well, these women are the drivers. Women don't rise up in mass and stop war. If they really wanted to stop war, they could, but they benefit from it. Women in the winning countries benefit from the resources taken from other countries. That's why there's never been a true blue, successful protest by women against war. They benefit. And you know what? They also don't get their hands dirty. They never have to sacrifice for war in any direct way. So Rogan is just wrong. I mean, look at all the ghettos where the guys turn to selling drugs. Who do the girls shack up with? The guy selling the drugs, or the honest guy who's making a minimum wage job? They shack up with the guy selling drugs. He has more resources. So crime and war are very fueled by female desire.
Just go to war.
This was in your most recent special, right? Yeah, that's great. And that's well thought out.
There were some of them that were upsetting me, but like, that's a pretty bulletproof argument. Like,
no, I just destroyed that argument. So he's full of shit.
The only men's rights argument that's legitimate.
Okay, he just contradicts himself. He's bringing one up.
Is divorce laws.
Sure, I agree with that.
And when it comes to alimony, and when it comes to child support, and when it comes to child custody.
Yeah,
there are
I
men
actually totally agree with that.
He didn't mention circumcision this time, did he? You know why? Because this guy is worried about divorce. He's married. Kyle Kalinske, I don't know if he is, but these guys are high status. They're worried about shacking up with some woman, having their stuff taken away. You see, these guys are not the great fighters for justice that they make themselves up to be. They don't have principles. They just care because it affects them personally.
There are men that get fucked over, and I know guys that have gotten fucked over in that regard. And you know what? Courts tend to side towards the mother, and even if the mother...
They don't tend to side to the mother. They do side with the mother. They side with the woman, not the mother, the woman. The woman in this case just happens to be a mother.
Mother's deceptive, and if the mother is, they'll say something like he beats the kids, or I think he might have done something sexual to the kids. And there's women have.
Yeah, these women that say I love you and forever and ever marry you, we've seen it time and time again that they'll smear their own loved ones. So why would a man get married in this climate?
Done horrible things like that, and they've done that to get more money, or they've done that to get custody, or they've done that just for spite. But this is a matter of the courts being designed to protect, or the system being designed to protect kids and protect the mother who.
This is false. If the system was designed to protect children, they would have shared parenting, not child support. Most kids want mom and dad in their lives. So Rogan is just plain wrong. It's not about protection either. It doesn't care about the kids. It's not there to protect the woman either. It's there to give her what she wants at the man's expense. It's there to give the woman what she wants, but the government doesn't want to have to pay for it. So they force the man to do it. And the government does it out of spite. The court system does it out of spite.
Needs to get money to be able to take care of the children because there's a lot of fucking shitty deadbeat dads. Now, if there were no deadbeat dads.
Now, this is what a loser Rogan is showing himself to be. If he knows anything about divorce courts, he knows women have the ability to kick a man out of his family. There's all kinds of men who would stay, but they don't have that right. That would be a men's rights issue. Also, these same women, I know here in Canada, they can abandon their children. If they're pregnant, they can abort them if they realize they don't want to deal with them. And they're actually allowed to give their children up for adoption. And these women, these mothers who do that, the government doesn't come with a bill making them pay child support to the adoptive parents. So this has nothing to do about the welfare of the children whatsoever.
If men always paid child support, then this would be far less of an issue.
Yeah.
Rogan, why don't they just do shared parenting? Then you don't have to do child support at all. As a matter of fact, what if the man dies, gets hit by a car? Does the woman and the kids go out and starve? No. Either the woman goes out and gets a job, which she should be doing anyway, or the government steps in and gives her welfare. So there's only one reason that they make man pay child support, and that's punishing the man for being born a man. That's you.
The reason why women can exploit it is because so many men were pieces of shit.
Sure.
It created this need for some sort of some sort of law that's set, something that's set to protect children and to protect women with that get custody.
Yeah, and now
again, it's not about protection. Rogan, what makes Rogan think that society is going to be good to men when he himself is hostile to other men? Rogan and Kalinsky talking here, they expect society to treat them like human beings and give them rights. Yet they want to deny it to all other guys. All other guys are guys who they don't deserve rights because they've done bad things. They're the good guys, and maybe the guys they know and like are good guys, but all the strange men they've never met, they're all bad guys. That's how it works in the simple male psychology.
Looks like with the divorce issue and everything, the pendulum swung a little too far in the other direction.
No, there's no pendulum swing. Men have always provided for women. Men have always worked more than women. They've always worked more dangerous jobs than women throughout all history, in every country, in every culture. So this is just wrong.
And there's like this default setting which is actually not too good for the guy.
No,
and I know the guy you're
exactly.
talking about too, because I saw that podcast a long time ago. I think it was one of the people you work with on News Radio or something. Right?
That's
Yeah.
just one of them. That's just one of them. I know many people that have been fucked over by divorce.
But-
and and look, I have a good friend of mine who I've talked about him on the podcast before. He has been divorced for 14 years. He has been married to a new woman for 12 years. He still pays alimony.
Yeah, he's talking about Dave Foley, I suspect. He had him on the podcast. They were on the same television show together. Dave Foley is the Canadian comedian. And this dumbass Foley got reamed by the first woman and then got married again while still paying this woman. He didn't even have the brain power to say, well, I'll wait till this woman stops draining me. And this new woman wants all his pay as well. So David Foley is an idiot. It shows there's something deeply wrong with the male psyche. And frankly, I don't have sympathy for Dave Foley. Once he got married again, no sympathy. Any man who gets married in this climate deserves everything he gets.
Not only does he still pay alimony, he pays alimony to a tune of more than $100,000 a year to a woman that he doesn't have sex with
So
anymore.
he can't retire.
He cannot retire. This woman has a boyfriend. She lives in his old house, my friend's old house. She owns the house now. They don't have any children. This is the idea that he fucked her so hard she can't work again. Like, she's not 80 years old, man.
Well, there you go. Like I said, well, the society has turned against men entirely. So, Rogan, why are you against men's rights? I just told you at the first. Given the choice, you and Klinsky you're talking to, with standing up for your rights or being accepted by the opposite sex, you choose being accepted by the opposite sex. So you can never have rights. And you're antithetical to men's rights. MRAs, anyone that are good, are miles above you guys as human beings. Like, why should I care about Joe Rogan's opinions? He's pro-slavery. That's what child support is. It's male slavery. So he's a failure in every way that it counts. So here's your hero here, everyone. Another loser. Okay, that's what I have to say about that.